What's up, everybody? I'm hoping everybody jumps in at some point that is interested in this. I know it's last minute and it's a little bit later than usual, unusual time. We posted part 2 where it cut off and it didn't really have full context. It was kind of weird to have a 5-minute video. That was kind of part 2. So I decided to kind of do this as part 2. We'll probably add part 2 to the title so that we can have better context on the end of that video, and so I can make a very big and important correction. Okay. And people got angry about this, and that's rightfully so, and that's okay. And I feel like this feels like the first big flub I've had since making YouTube videos. And so I wanted to come on immediately when I realized I was wrong, apologize about it, try to not explain it away because I was just flat out wrong. And I think it's important when people say that they're wrong and admit that they're wrong and apologize for it. And then kind of just explain how we got there and where we got. So I guess we'll start with that, and then we'll get into some more context I've learned about the case and things like that. So hold on a second. Okay. So one thing I said in the video, when we were talking about, so context around medical malpractice lawsuits and just lawsuits in general that have medical experts. Sorry. So that I'm not teasing this, let's get to where I'm wrong. Hey, Terry, what's up? I was wrong when I said that morphine is a no-no in pregnancy for pregnant women during delivery. Okay. That was just flat out wrong, that it is categorically a no-no. Are there some doctors that say you should not do anything like that? Yes. I don't know if you'll consider them more holistic doctors, but some people do warn against that. And some of the doctors that we had, again, just my experience, talk about slowing heartbeats and respiratory systems and things like that, and slower going through the birth canal. Okay. Lisa said, I was screaming at your computer saying you are wrong. Fair. That is fair. Okay. And listen, I get that people, back up where you're wrong. Sorry. I didn't mean to start talking about it before I said what I was wrong. I was wrong. Okay. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. I apologize for it. I hope you could tell as I was going through it, I actually believed it as I was saying it. And again, as I talk through it more, it is a minority of doctors. Yeah, too many people in the chat were women who had morphine during labor, and you're 100% right. Okay, you're 100% right. I shouldn't say you're 100% right. You're 100% right that there are plenty of women in the chat that had morphine during labor. Okay, so I wanted to come on, make sure that was upfront, first and foremost, important, that everybody knew I was wrong, and I honestly didn't have any reason to do it. That's what I thought as I was going through it. Okay. So as I have talked to more doctors tonight, which I have, and people that work in this field and do these different kind of things, while some of them do say it can be bad, most of them are like, unless it's a lot of morphine, not a big deal. Different cocktails and muscle relaxers can create problems and things like that. Okay. And then additionally, when we talk about medical experts specifically, and feel free to let me have it in the chat. I get it. I understand why people were upset. And especially when you've gone through something, or people are RNs or doctors or therapists, respiratory therapists and stuff, reach out to me, sent me messages. All the messages I got were really nice and kind. I hear some of the comments were not. That sucks. I wish people would know by now that, like, I'm looking into these cases. These are not my cases. I don't know what the medical records say. I'm not putting the pleadings together. I've tried to be upfront from the jump that I know just a very surface level of these cases we cover. And especially this case when we don't even have the complaint to read. Okay. And it's not like we have our own cases that we read and talk to our experts. And that's why, frankly, the best lesson learned, which again, is something that's already applied in my case is, yeah, and I didn't mean to say I've never been wrong before, so hopefully it didn't come out like that. I have been wrong plenty. I just mean I don't feel like I have spoken out of turn on YouTube a ton. I'll just say that. Maybe some of you think I have. But this is why we have experts. This is why we have doctors, why we have pharmacists. This is why a lot of time when we cross-examine experts, like doctors and pharmacists and things like that, we don't argue with the medicine. We don't argue about the medicine with them, even if we disagree with them. And that's the other thing. Like, if they got an expert to say, not just the morphine, right, but the combination of prescription meds that they gave to Alexee Trevizo, if they find an expert to say that, it wouldn't surprise me. There's an expert in every single one of my cases that I have, because they're all dealing with medicine, that disagrees with what I think and what my expert says on what caused an injury, on what treatment should be used, on what's necessary, on what future treatment could be used, on what works and what doesn't work, and what they should have and what they shouldn't have, and how much it should cost and what it shouldn't cost. So that shouldn't be surprising that experts can disagree. So I'm not saying that there's no way that a medical expert will say exactly what that lawyer said. And just to be clear, I was reading what the lawyer wrote in the lawsuit throughout most of that article, but I did say that morphine is a no-no in pregnancy. I did say that. And that's wrong. I should say majority of people believe that's wrong. Majority of medical experts and data and research would say that is wrong. Okay. So that's the misstep. And I want to make sure it's clear, because I do like, in these cases, something that is a good exercise and educational to me is trying to see things from other people's perspectives, even sometimes the side that I don't agree with. And I think that's obvious in some cases, right? Whether it's Daryl Brooks or something like that, where I try to see his point of view. I try to see what he's arguing. I try to explain what he's arguing. Well, all the while knowing the whole time he's wrong, he's going to lose, and he deserves what's coming to him, right? So I think that that's important. I think that that makes people better lawyers. I try to do that in all of my cases. I try to see it from their side. I try to see what arguments they're going to make. And I think that that helps when you try to determine the arguments they're going to make, so that you know how to combat those arguments. And that I think is really important. And again, I feel like I made it as clear as possible throughout the video, but maybe I didn't. So I'll say it again here. Alexee Trevizo, while she is presumed innocent, is different than a lot of the criminal defendants in the case, because she did admit to actions that are criminal. Tampering with evidence. And I actually think there could be other charges for what she did with the baby post-delivery. Now, what has to be proven is, was it intentional or was it not? And there is apparently some records and reports that there was air in the baby's lungs and it couldn't breathe. And that could have been from the plastic bags. It could have been from strangulation. It could have been from a lot of things. The state is going to have to prove what that was from. The defense may argue it had something to do with some of the medication. People also have adverse reactions to morphine and muscle relaxers and other medication. And we just don't know. And that the way I should have said it, which you would think I would know how to do this by now, the way I should have said it on the video is, we will see if the defense gets a doctor to testify that this combination of medications had an adverse effect on the baby. That's what I should have said, because legally, that's the lawyer's point of view. That's what the lawyer's thinking. That's what the lawyer would need to try to prove this case. That's what the lawyer would need for a prima facie case here. That's what I should have said. That is correct. And I want to make sure that Linda, I think Linda was maybe one of the ones that messaged me as an RN, not a specialist, and knowing about the amount they found. I would question the physician. The morphine dose ordered was outlandish based on info, weight, other info we had. Right. If there was an issue, the RN should absolutely question that. Right. And again, none of this really has anything to do with Alexee Trevizo's decision-making, right? Some of it was absolutely criminal by admission, and some of it is probably criminal that the state still has to prove. So I wanted to get on because it was bothering me. Like when I saw it, when I looked into it, again, I was gone all day today. And I got a lot of the messages. I read the messages, and a lot of the messages were better to read and more fun to read than the comments. And I understand why people don't read their comments. A lot of people told me to just stop reading my comments. But I like to get the feedback. I like to have a feel of the room. I like to read the room. Because I feel like that's what helps me when I'm picking juries and trials, is to hear what you guys say about certain things. And I think this is important. And another lesson learned: you mess something up that people just clearly know as an easy fact, and you lose credibility as a lawyer trying a case. Another lesson learned. And so I'm appreciative of you all for that. People are saying you don't have to say you're sorry. I feel bad. I do. I feel bad, honestly, because I do try to do my best in these videos. I do. I put a lot of time into them. I put a lot of effort into them. And I don't try to just spout off and say stuff. And this was outside my area of expertise. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pharmacist. So people are saying what happened. So Katrina, if you missed the beginning of the video, I'll just say it one more time because I don't need to belabor it or anything like that. But I said that morphine is a no-no in pregnancy or in labor. That was wrong. That was wrong. Okay, and I'm not going to say, again, I try to do this, okay? I'm not going to say that there are no doctors that say it's wrong, because there are some that say it can create, slowed heartbeat or respiratory issues or slowness moving through the birthing canal or whatever. Usually they're on the more, I don't know if it's conservative or holistic side, but generally speaking, it's totally acceptable. So I wanted to make sure that was clear. That was it. Nothing catastrophic, but I did think it was important, especially for the women that have, taken morphine in their delivery, and the medical professionals who reached out to me and were like, bro, you're wrong. Okay. A lot of times people I do have people reach out from time to time and say, hey, you're so wrong and stupid about this. And I don't come on and do an apology video because they're actually wrong, but you guys are right. And I appreciate it. And I like accountability, and I appreciate being held accountable to the people that nicely pointed it out. Terry Dice, glad you are here, Peter. Thank you, Terry. We got you, bro, from Amber. Thank you. Yes, and I do. I feel that. I feel it big time. Vast majority where it was constructive criticism, which I always appreciate. And some of the biggest supporters of the channel message me all the time with constructive criticism on how things look, how things are presented, on the intro and the outro, and how catchy it is. And that's we're not beholden to anybody, right? We don't work for, any corporation or company or anything like that. It's just, we're here to try to provide educational content that's sometimes entertaining for you all. And so that's what we do. But I don't take it lightly, and I don't just throw stuff around that I don't know what I'm talking about. And so because of that, I wouldn't have been able to sleep tonight if I didn't come on and do the video. I was watching a show with my wife, and she's like, seriously, you're going to go do a video right now? I was like, I have to. I was like, I know, I'm sorry, but I have to. Amanda, so excited to catch you live. This was my first week of law school, and I want to say thank you, Peter. You should have seen their faces when I could recite the 4 elements of negligence day one. Boom, Amanda. I love to hear it. And it's fun, but it's tough. So many gray areas in being a lawyer, arguments on both sides, always trying to see arguments on both sides. You got to be able to be wrong and learn from it, continue to grow, and not be afraid to. That's one of the things in society. It's like people are afraid of being wrong one time, because then they feel like either now the trolls are going to come out and tell me I'm wrong about anything. That's fine. People already do that. That doesn't bother me. What I think it's going to be is hopefully more people thinking, right? Don't take something just because I say it as truth. That's how I lived my whole life. I think we should all, that's what we talk about, like when law enforcement, like they're usually right. State attorneys are usually right. They usually get the right person. That doesn't mean we can't ask questions and scrutinize what people do to make sure it is right, and do the same with me. If something smells fishy to you or it doesn't sound right, or even just as you're listening and you're interested, like, oh, I'm going to look this up. I'm going to double check this. I welcome that. Azam, this is very late for you, Peter. Thanks for doing this. I hope you've had a great time with family today. It was so awesome. We didn't tell my kids. We woke them up this morning, surprised them, went to Universal, did all the movie rides and stuff. It was so cool. All the Harry Potter world stuff. It was awesome. Lady Law Sandra, Peter, if it was not for you, my dream was never to be a lawyer. You only reinstated what her lawyer said. Yes, and again, saying the claims, there's nothing wrong with the claims. There's nothing wrong with saying that he may get an expert to say it. There's nothing wrong with saying it's a plausible argument. And if they get an expert to say it, it could be a prima facie case for a medical negligence claim. That doesn't mean they're going to win. That doesn't mean Alexee Trevizo didn't do anything wrong. She clearly did. So reiterating that and making those points, they are what they are. But I shouldn't have said I know, what medicine does this or does that. Okay. Especially, it was clear half those medicines I couldn't even pronounce them. So I wasn't even trying to figure out what they do. John O'Rourke, my guy, I'm wrong all the time. How you correct your mistake is truly what matters. Even though you are kind of pretty, I forgive you. It was a totally fair and lighthearted mistake. I appreciate it, John. And again, I really appreciate you and what you bring to the table. And we disagree too all the time. John messages in and is like, nah, I don't see it that way, but maybe. That's usually, and that's cool. That's what this is all about. Rebecca, I missed the beginning. Well, Rebecca, who I have a soft spot for, the Cowboys, my favorite Cowboys fan, you should go watch, because you were one of the ones, I believe, that provided some constructive criticism. And so I want you to go watch the beginning. Lisa, strive for excellence, Peter, not perfection. You're good with us. I struggle with that. It's a big problem of mine, and dealing with other people too. So that is something. Thank you. I need that. Pegasus, could the cheerleading cause anything? Here's what I'm going to say. If an expert in the field that you have a question on in a case says to a reasonable degree of medical probability or certainty or scientific probability or certainty, depending on what the burden is in your jurisdiction, if they had somebody said the cheerleading caused it, that an expert could actually provide medical or scientific evidence for, they could make that argument and it would be up to a jury. Patricia, you're okay for having a different take. People should never get ugly. I'm sure they're never mistaken. Yeah, I agree with you. And that's kind of my first inclination too. Have you ever, anybody seen Dumb and Dumber? We did a TikTok about it years ago. Pete was tying his tie. He did it perfectly. And I sit there and act like I can't tie my tie. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you never made a mistake, Mr. Perfect. Or whatever that quote is from Dumb and Dumber. But regardless of other people make mistakes, if I make one, I want to own it. Trenda, don't beat yourself up too bad, Peter. You always stay true to yourself. And I know it's driving you crazy thinking you put wrong info out there. My favorite by far. I know. And I went back and forth. I'm like, I want to delete it because I don't want people to listen to it and think it's right. I don't want to delete it because I don't want people to think he's trying to pretend like the mistake never happened. So I was kind of torn there, and I thought instead of playing that part 2, I come in and give an explanation. So I'm gonna change I got to remember to change the title of this to part 2, so people will watch that and then watch this. So I was torn on that. The internet's tough, man. It's tough. It's a good place and it's open, which is nice too. But so I decided to leave it up. You guys can let me know what you think about it, because I don't know. I even though I make YouTube videos, I'm not very like YouTube savvy. I don't watch a ton of channels. And a lot of the channels I watch are sports. So I don't know what is appropriate in these situations. Kevin Trotter, thanks for the super chat, man. Thank you, Complex Lit. I know always having my back, even though sometimes we don't agree on stuff too. And different experience, I think, adds to the conversation. Rebecca, Peter, I am happy. I'm so happy that you're interactive with anybody. Yeah, I don't want to lose that, right? And I know people are going to be negative. There's going to be trolls and whatever. I don't feel like we have too many of them. I know they exist, but, and I get that highlighting it, can make them better, but this was legitimate, and a lot of really awesome, great supporters of the channel, with background in this information were really nice about it as well. People were frustrated and annoyed in the chat, and I understand that as well. So I get it, and I appreciate it. Gnomes, you rock. Best channel ever. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Teresa, welcome to the membership crew. Myra, I don't think this warrants people being mean. I mean, come on. We thank you daily for giving us different perspectives. That should tell us you aren't being malicious. Yeah. And I hope people weren't thinking I was being malicious. I don't really know what I gained from being wrong about something like this. But one of my very good friends who's an ER doctor I was texting with, and he's like, I mean, sure, too much morphine is bad, but yeah, it can be used in that stuff too. Some OBGYNs I talked to, said, oh yeah, no, it is. I was like, crap. I was like, all right, that's just my bad. I don't know. Cause I had talked to some, and one of my buddies is like, the holistic guys would never do it ever. They would not treat you as a patient if that's what you wanted to do. And it's only natural pregnancies and whatever. It's like, okay, I get that. I get that there are differing opinions, but I feel like the way that I said it was wrong. And because of that, that's why we're here. Lady Law, look, we are basically jurors. And to us, you just said what her lawyer said. You do not know we have your back. Oh, I know you got my back. I know you got my back, and I appreciate it. Margaret, I am a long-term L&D NICU RN. In spite of the meds given to her or infections and their effects on her baby, she did not give her baby a chance at life. I've tried so many times to save a baby. This breaks my heart. I mean, that's the thing that's really frustrating. This should not be at all about me. I don't want it to be about me. I will try not to speak of this again after this video. But I agree with you. And that's the saddest thing to me. And when it got there and it got to this moment, I know a lot of things lead up to it and people have differing opinions, but I think everybody that sees what happened in this case was like, I wish she would have made a different decision that day. We don't know what was going on. We're still going to learn, what was going on with her mom and what was going on with her family. And I know there are interviews with a lot of the hospital staff, and that male charge nurse was like, you could tell it really affected him. He was angry. He was frustrated. He was there to save lives, not be a part of a police investigation. So I really felt for them. I mean, I think people thought I was condemning them. I didn't at all mean to do that, or wasn't saying that at all. I was trying to explain the lawyer's point of view and perspective of what they were going to try to prove. But I get how people feel that way. And again, if you talk about medical malpractice cases, that's one of the big things you have to overcome is people generally like doctors. They generally like hospital staff. And it has to be really egregious to get to the medical malpractice. But I will also say more people call about medical malpractice cases that we reject than any other case because they are very difficult to prove. And there are bars all over the place that you have to get over to even have one. In our jurisdiction in Florida, I'll say. Marissa, just want to say I was on a jury this week and I even got to read out the verdict. I felt so prepared and well-informed because of this channel. Marissa, this makes me happy. That is so awesome. Tiff Godfrey, thanks for the super chat. Lady Law, yes, me too, Peter. In my discussion in class, I know about elements, and that's thanks to you. It's really cool. That's really cool. This is really cool and something that I never would have expected to come from this doing YouTube stuff. So that's awesome. And I'm glad that there are 2,500 people on here and not 200, because I wanted as many people to see this as possible. I want the mistake to be as widespread as it possibly can so that there's not misinformation out there coming from me. Rebecca, I hope it didn't make you feel bad. No, not at all. I mean, I hope people know by now that you come at me with a disagreement or telling me I'm wrong, try to do it the right way. Even if you don't do it the right way, I'll still try to take it as constructive criticism. And you did do it the right way. And I appreciated that. Summer Golden, must be nice for people to not know they're pregnant for 9 months. I was sick as a dog the whole 9 months with both our girls. Peter, you are truly an amazing human. Thank you for everything you do. Yeah, I was pretty sure my wife was pregnant the whole time she was pregnant too. Yeah, and that's part of it as well. And again, I didn't put up the pictures. People tagged me on some pictures like, come on, Peter, you knew she was pregnant. I was like, I would guess that she was, but I also am like, I was taught that is a no. I never assume, I never ask, nothing. It's like if somebody wants to tell me they're pregnant, I will congratulate them and pray for health and happiness for the baby. But I mean, I don't try to guess if somebody's pregnant. Lisa, just for being a cool dude. Well, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you, Lisa. Janet, how did you guys not have a heat stroke? Well, it's touch and go in a couple different spots because I'm getting old. And like one of the rides, it was like spinning around and doing all this stuff. And I was like, whoa, I feel dizzy. I've had vertigo a couple times too. So it's interesting. I love roller coasters, but some of them were. Terry, you only spoke about your wife's delivery of your kids. You said nothing wrong. I appreciate it, Terry. And I appreciate everybody that as they listen to what I say, they take it, I will say, in the light most favorable to me, which I appreciate so much. I appreciate it. I do feel like though it was very easily could have been taken another way, and that's why I want to do this. I appreciate it. Krisha, gently and kindly, wonder if the strong reaction was possibly from women frustrated from previous experience with pregnancy, labor pains on misinformation. Acknowledging it shows great character. Yeah, I don't know why. And again, the why isn't as important as I felt like it was a mistake, and so that's why I felt like it was necessary to do this. Tina, welcome to the membership crew. And Jocelyn, Lisa Figueroa, they crucified the last perfect person. Amen. I agree with you. But again, this is nothing like that. I'm not being crucified here at all. So I don't want anybody to feel like it's taken that way. Oksana Luke, you rock. We love you. Just the fact that you're saying this is what sets you apart. But I don't think you are completely wrong. It could just be the reason for this tragedy, not a far stretch. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I think that, again, if they talk about the mix of medication and that an expert says had an effect, morphine will be part of that mix. Okay, fine. I'm not saying they won't ever find an expert to do that. Like I said, 50% of the experts in the cases that I handle, I disagree with. Medical experts especially. Genevieve, always enjoy your videos. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Genevieve. Carla, I am astounded by your humility and integrity, but hope you can give yourself grace that you give everyone else and that you deserve from me and all of us. Thank you, Carla. And I honestly, I will get uncomfortable if people keep sending messages like this, but I appreciate it. You guys you're the best. I appreciate it. And I will. I already feel better. I wanted to come say it so it didn't seem like I was like hiding. It is a problem, right? With dealing with, doing my best and making mistakes and not giving people reason to think the worst of me or whatever. I don't care if people disagree with me. Has nothing to do with this. Like people say, disagree with a Koberger take or a Rittenhouse take or a YNW Melly take or whatever. That doesn't bother me at all. But if I make a mistake, I want to come correct it and not think that I'm doubling down on it and things like that. So thank you so much, Carla. Azam, watching you makes me want to be a better person. I know nobody is perfect, but you're close. No, I'm not. I don't even know that you're wrong about the morphine. I'm not close, not anywhere near close. And I appreciate it. And I hope we all can try to be, because of this channel and this chat and all of these discussions. That makes me feel really good. Even if I'm wrong about something here or there, if people come here and they try to do the right thing and are always trying to be better and give more grace to people and not condemn people so quickly or think the worst of them if they make a mistake, I think we'd be more open about when we do make mistakes and we can all just learn and grow from it and not feel like we have to hide our mistakes so much. People have been sending me stories about people hurting themselves because of mistakes they made and they're so embarrassed and they don't want to admit the mistake. And it's like, we never want to get that, boiling and festering inside of us either. I feel better already. So I appreciate you guys for that. This was maybe a selfish video because I was like torn up inside and this is making me feel better. Tiff Godfrey, 10. I'm not sure what you mean by 10. But thank you. Rebecca, This is a reason why I gift memberships to this channel and you, Peter. Please don't beat yourself up. I'm not. You guys have appropriately helped me. I'm not beating myself up about it at all. But I do feel like I needed to explain why I apologize, what I'm specifically apologizing for, not to think I'm apologizing for any argument a lawyer might be able to make with the help of experts. That's part of it. And I can disagree with it. I can say they're wrong. I can say they're not going to win, but it's still a plausible argument that they can make. Thank you, Rebecca, so much, always, for everything. SW 4x4 Explorers. All she had to do was pull for help or open the door and yell for help. She was in a place to get proper help. Alec should not have been given. I'm not even going to get into it at this point. Okay, too soon. 4x4 Explorers. But I agree. I wish she would have just asked for help. All those nurses there seemed genuinely ready and willing and wanting to help her. So that is incredibly sad. Incredibly sad. Jennifer, love your channel. Rest easy tonight. I will now, Jennifer. Thank you. And my wife's going to be happy because I was over there on my phone like, oh, no. I was like, oh, okay, I got to just got to talk to the people. Let's come and talk. And that's what's so awesome about this too. It's like I can just pop on and we can talk about it. And I appreciate you guys showing up for this. Johanna, such integrity. Thank you, Johanna. Jordan, thanks for the super chat. Daisy M. This is why you are an excellent attorney. I don't know. Some people like attorneys that never admit mistakes. Some people like attorneys that even when they think or know they're wrong, they keep pushing through and don't care. That's not me. I got to believe in the case. And I've seen some clients' names in here that people have hired me from YouTube and met me through YouTube. And I'll tell them and I'll be like, yeah, this one, I think this, I think that. But if I take your case, I really believe it and I believe in it. And I think you can't convince a jury of something you don't actually believe it. So I know lawyers disagree with that. But I appreciate it, Daisy M, because I think probably what you mean is seeing mistakes and understanding when you're wrong is a really good quality to have. And that's probably the attorney you would want, which again, I appreciate and value. Aaron, can you look into Karen Reed? It's insane. Yeah, I've had a lot of questions about that. I also do think there's a lot of cases rolling around, so it's hard to, and people are all in to these cases, which I love. But it makes it hard to keep up with the facts as much as you all do. And so I have to limit to the ones I can really dive into. So we'll see if this Alexee Trevizo case ends up being one we continue to follow. If not, if you guys are interested in Karen Reed, let me know in the comment section. And maybe we'll do a first look at that where we just kind of do an overview and see if it's something that you guys have a lot of questions about. And if you do, then I'll try to answer them. But I could be wrong. Tiff, there it is. There's the 10. Thank you, Tiff. Jordan, Peter, I once made a mistake that cost the company I worked for over $1.5 million. I owned up for the mistake. I stressed day in and day out that I was getting fired. I ended up getting promoted. Honestly, Jordan, I've had employees make mistakes too, and they offer to pay for it out of their paycheck. And I'm like, no, like the fact that you're taking this mistake this way, you're going to focus more the next time. Hopefully, obviously, if somebody makes a million of the same mistakes, then that's a problem and you got to let them go. But it's like one mistake and then they fix it and never make that same mistake again. It's usually worth it. $1.5 million is a big mistake, but they know they can trust you and they know that you're not going to finger point. And if you do something wrong, you're going to own up to it. And that's a really good quality in my opinion. Shauna, thank you. Sawyer, medical providers put disclaimers stating not all errors may have been caught when they use a scribe or dictate. So you've got your mulligan. Thank you, Sawyer. I got all these lawyers in this channel defending me. So I love it. I love it. Jesse Sue, Peter, you will always be our number one go-to when it comes to the law. Ain't nobody got shiz on you. Yeah, but I should not be the go-to when it comes to medicine. Patty, Peter, you have such integrity. That's one of the many reasons we all love you. You know, I did start undergrad as a bio major and wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon because I had a horrible football injury in high school and had like a bunch of surgeries on my leg. Got to know my orthopedic surgeon, compound fracture, Joe Theismann type of injury. We'll talk about that another day. But I do like medicine a lot. Far from an expert, but I do like it. More spine and orthopedic injuries than like medication and pharmacy stuff. Jordan, long story short, we all make mistakes. Keep doing what you're doing, my guy. Love your channel. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you so much. Honestly, this means a ton to me. I'm really, really, really glad that I decided to do this. And I appreciate you all. Jazzy's mom, welcome to the crew. Robin, so glad you are covering this case. You're a lawyer, not medical. True. You checked and corrected. No big deal at all. Keep up the great work. You're the best. And I wanted to do it as quickly as possible, right? I was planning on just doing it tomorrow. I even tweeted about it. Like, I'll just do a Q&A tomorrow. But I was like, the video just posted a couple hours ago. Why not just correct it as quickly as possible? So that's why I did it, correcting it as quickly as I possibly could. Myra, they will find an expert to back up whatever the narrative they are going with. Let's not forget the experts from the JD, Spiegel, anyone. I mean, I'm telling you, every case I have, they get these experts to say, oh, no, they're fine. It's like they had 3 surgeries. Like, what do you mean they're fine? You think they just wanted to have surgeries? Like, their life is completely changed. But yeah, I mean, people find them. Thank you, Azam, for the super sticker. MLC, been following a long time. You've become one of my faves. Super cool to watch the channel grow and your streaming evolve. Always love your insightful, thoughtful takes. Appreciate your humility and immediate correction. Thank you very much. Thank you, MLC. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I want it to be, right? I want to bring the takes. I want to, and especially sometimes when a document drops and you guys want to hear about it. I don't even read it before I come on because I read it with you. And you're just getting my first immediate reaction, right? It's lawyer reacts, not lawyer prepares for 5 hours. And not there's anything wrong with that. I prepare for some videos, absolutely. But when I tell you I'm watching something or reading something for the first time with you, that's what it is. And it's not always going to be perfect. And that's why lawyers couch in a lot of it depends and totality of the circumstances type language and things like that. Lady Law, Azam, we all know he is different, but I'm now in the legal area or arena. I'm from the medical field, but like they say, legal minds are unique. Thank you so much. It's like they teach you, if you're in law school, right, Lady Law, you're learning that they teach you how to think and read very differently. Amber, you are not being selfish. I'm a perfectionist. My husband would have said the same thing Whitney did because I wouldn't have slept either. LOL. Yeah, I know. It's a blessing and a curse, I think. Rashenda, maybe others can learn from your integrity. You're one of the few good ones out there. Thank you. I hope people will be more quick to admit mistakes. I mean, I think that's a good thing because everybody makes them, right? Like, regardless of whether you admit it, like, you're still making mistakes. So I think it's better to admit them quickly. Linda, welcome to the crew. And Crystal Smith, welcome as well. Rebecca, I'm there to help you with the medicine. Peter, yeah, a lot. We have quite a few medical people in the chat, which I appreciate. And I know, right? And I know that stuff's not going to fly. I expect if I make a mistake that people are going to catch it. I don't expect this stuff goes over your head. So that's not surprising at all to me. And don't think that it is. It's surprising that I flubbed like that because I don't know why that was like just, and in case you can't tell, like most of the time I'm not reading notes as we do this. So a lot of this is just kind of coming from my memory bank. And that was just something filed away incorrectly. It's really the only way I can explain it. Michelle, you're solid, man. Move along with confidence. You've earned it. I appreciate that, Michelle. I appreciate it. Yeah. I'd be nothing without my confidence. A big part of me. So I gotta keep it. I appreciate you. Emily, you're so relatable today. Great live. And that's one of the reasons why I don't put on a suit every time. I have lots of suits. I could put on a suit every time we do a video. What's the point of that? I put on suits when I go to try cases. It's pretty much the only time I put on a suit now. When I have a Zoom hearing or deposition, it's usually just the top half. So, I mean, I'm not trying to impress anybody that I own a suit, right? You see me when I wear to work, you see me when it's 11:30 at night. I mean, so I try to be relatable. And that worked out because the point is kind of like, I like listening to sports podcasts because it feels like you're sitting around the couch, listening to them talk football or whatever it is. You guys like talking about true crime and legal stuff. So do I. So it's like we're sitting around the couch and we're talking true crime and legal stuff. Azam, inspirational. We love you. Go get rest now. Coming from you, Azam, go get rest. I know that if I do a live tomorrow at 3 p.m., 3 a.m. your time, you're going to be there. So sometimes we can push rest off a little bit, right, Azam? Gnomes, my husband and I watch your show every day, especially during our lunch break. It's the way you read, explain, and provide perspective. That's awesome. And I love to hear that. And I've seen some different couples that do it, which I think is so cool. Anything that I can watch with my wife, I like even more, except that I've got to wait to watch it with her. It's the only bad part. But no, it's awesome. You guys are awesome. Lisa P, love this channel. Peter, you're the best. Thank you so much. And even more members coming in. Numbers, Isamar, and Genevieve. Just in time for the members only live tomorrow. That'll be fun. We're going to talk about judges, all the judges in all the cases. We're going to vote and see which you all think are the best. I'll give you my opinion. Marissa, not only did I understand the law terms in trial, but I also felt like a better juror and more analytical because of watching your opinions on trials. And it sounds like you waited to make any decisions until you can be analytical and listen to try and figure out what the right verdict is and the right answer is. So I'm pumped to hear that. I'm really pumped to hear that. I'm actually presenting for the criminal defense attorneys for our local bar association in our county in a couple weeks about YouTube and social media and like how cameras are affecting trials and things like that. And one of the things I'm going to say that's really important is trial lawyers should really want jurors that understand what it is to be fair and impartial and unbiased when they come into a trial, how to put stuff out of their mind, how to look at a case, and how that is such an important part of this. And that's one of the big key points that I'm speaking on in a couple weeks. So I love to hear that, Marissa, and I will use you as an example I won't use your name, but I will use you as an example in the presentation of somebody that I don't know if you were the foreperson because you read the verdict, kind of may have been implied. We're on a jury and understood to wait and be analytical until you have all of the facts to analyze and make your decision. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. All right. I think that's all we got. Rebecca, when does fantasy football start? I've been talking with John about it a little bit. We don't have it quite posted yet, but we will very soon. A bunch of my drafts are starting in the next couple weeks. So in the next couple weeks. Michelle, welcome to the crew. And Kathleen Hahn, thank you for the super sticker. We'll go out on this. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, everybody that joined. Hit that like button on the way out if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to on this video. But I appreciate you guys so much. Honestly, can't say that enough. I know I've repeated myself a million times. We'll hang out tomorrow. Members only live. Maybe another video. Pumped to continue to bring you content. We got more shorts coming out. We got like TikTok-y type videos that I'm being told by my crew I need to do. So if you guys enjoy those, let me know. More Be a Lawyer's Day in the Life, things like that. To try to provide some like fun and shorter, entertaining content for you guys. Follow the Lawyer You Know in Shorts YouTube channel too if you want to see all the short stuff. Nirvana, hi, I'm a new member of your channel. I love your work. What's your favorite case? My favorite case that I've like covered here? Darrell Brooks was really wild. I have seen stuff like that, but not to that level. The Johnny Depp Amber Heard case. I like the Gwyneth Paltrow case because that's kind of what I do. It's a little bit different, but similar to what I do. I enjoyed the Scott Peterson trial a lot, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial a lot. Murdoch's trial I thought was really riveting. I guess I did not answer your question for what's your favorite case. Honestly, the cases that have the best discussion from you guys are the ones I enjoyed the most. So I appreciate you and everybody else in here, but I'm going to take off now and try to go to sleep. I always get adrenaline rush after this. It's like a dopamine hit because I enjoy the time so much with you all. But that's all I've got. So I'm going to take off, take a listen to the intro. I'm not a doctor. I'm a lawyer. And I'm out of here. Thanks for watching another episode of The Lawyer You Know. If you enjoyed the episode, please hit the thumbs up and share with your friends who may be interested here on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at Tragos Law is our handle. And don't forget to listen to the Lawyer You Know podcast, featuring new episodes every week. If you have a case you want to talk to us about, if it's a personal injury case, wrongful death, catastrophic injury, car accident, or slip and fall case, please email us at lawyeryouknow@gmail.com. And of course, all these links I just mentioned are included in the description below on this episode and every episode. So until next time, this is Peter Tragos, the Lawyer You Know.